Is the Bible true? The scribes and how they worked. How can you and I be sure that what we read in the Bible today is the same as what was originally written? Couldn't it have been changed over the centuries? That was partially answered with the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947. Scholars were able to compare the oldest manuscript we had from 675 AD with a Bible manuscript written 1,000 years earlier. And to their astonishment, the two copies were 95% accurate, with the other 5% being spelling variants or slips of the pen. That means for the 1,000 years in between these two manuscripts, the scribes did an amazing job. How could they have been this accurate? Well, let's look at a short video produced by Josh McDowell Ministries about how the scribes worked.
Let's have a moment of honesty here. Everything we believe hangs on this book being true. A book that's been copied by hand in a game of telephone lasting centuries. Yeah, let's deal with that doubt for a minute. To trust this book, you have to trust the people that made it. So, let's look at the work of a scribe responsible for the Torah. Before he can ever touch ink to paper, there are 4,000 rules he has to memorize. He's a professional responsible for every stage of production, preparing the calfskin, creating a grid with pinholes and string, so each letter is in the same place. Each word reads with the same ease and accuracy as the original. Even the tedious task of preparing a day's worth of ink from gallnuts. He copies one word at a time, first saying, then writing, then saying it again. Make a mistake on God's name, he starts the whole document over. Every single letter, 304,805 of them, is written according to a prescribed set of strokes. He writes with a feather quill, by candlelight, with ink that bleeds and runs, and the letters must not touch. We're talking about a lifetime of backbreaking dedication, and that means this book is not just any book. It means that the words it contains, God meeting his people face to face, God leading, protecting, providing for them, those words can't be a mistake. So we're forced to deal not just with words, but with the living God himself.
When the last letter had been inked by the scribe, his manuscript had to be certified by other scribes, and then from 1 to 3 Jewish rabbis. How did they certify the scrolls? Well, first they would unroll the scroll and count every single word as well as all of the 304,805 letters. The center word on that scroll had to fall exactly within Leviticus 13:33. If it didn't, it wouldn't be certified. The central letter had to fall in Leviticus 11:45, and if it didn't, it wouldn't be certified. Every line in the new manuscript had to begin and end with the same word and letter as the source Torah. This meant that the new copy would match perfectly. Once certified, that Torah would then become the authoritative text for an entire synagogue, and it lasted for decades. But when the scroll began to deteriorate and fade, it would be retired and stored away in a geniza, like a cemetery for scrolls. The rabbi didn't want to risk that a faded word would be mispronounced, misread, or even worse, misinterpreted. So all along, God was keeping a watchful eye on his own words, that they would be carefully copied and preserved during many long centuries. And that brings us to today. What is the manuscript evidence that we have today for the Bible? Let's look at that in the next video.